Puff is one of those things that I have a love and hate relationship with. They are round, small balls that are deep fried, and they can be absolutely delicious. They are sort of like a beignet, or yeah, they are like sort of like a beignet or a soft and squishy donut balls, or donut holes. I have a love and hate relationship with it. They're usually served at parties, for appetizers, and all of that. Anyways, today I'll be sharing with you my recipe for making puff puff, and I'll also be sharing with you my tricks and tips, and also to share how you can turn your puff puff into a dessert. There can never be one way to eat puff puff. Anyway, let's dive right into it and meet the ingredients. First, you need some flour. Of course, it's a dough. Then you need some sugar. You need sugar to sweeten it up. The amount of sugar you need is, totally up to you. Then you need some yeast. Of course, it's a stretchy dough, so you need some yeast. This is the brand of yeast that I use. I'm using instant yeast, so this is the brand of yeast I use. Just a little pack like this is enough for this amount of flour. You also need some sugar, some salt, you need some nutmeg, then you need some milk. For the purpose of this video, milk is totally optional. You don't need to add milk, but this is the brand that I'm using for this video. You need some warm water, just to bring everything and bind everything together. These are the usual suspects, so let's meet the optional suspects. So you need some pepper if you want to make it spicy. I like to add eggs to my puff puff, but it is totally optional, but I like to add it. Then my secret ingredient, which is soda water, that helps the yeast to activate. Anyway, now I'll share with you the reasons why I use soda water for my recipe, and I'll explain further as we go. Now, into a bowl I add sugar, salt, nutmeg, and flour. Here I'm sifting it just to take away any lumps or any funky or funny business. I will repeat that until I have ran through the flour. The full ingredients and measurement list will be listed in the description below, so please be sure to check that out before you start making my puff puff recipe. Now, next thing, I'm going ahead to add my yeast, my milk. I'll go ahead and add some eggs and then I'll add water, and then gently I'll use my hand to mix and try to form like a dough out of this. Now, the trick to making my puff puff, so this is, let me be very honest, I have mastered the art of making my puff puff, so I never get to measure out the amount of water. I've never had to measure out the amount of water that I use, so I just know that I eyeball it and I know when my water I've gotten to the right consistency that I need. So for the sake of this video, I had measured out 2 cups of water because I wanted to be intentional about knowing how much water that I often use, and I found out that I actually do use about 1.5 cups of water for about 3 cups of flour. That's what I eventually found out in this video. So whether you're using 3 cups, 6 cups, 1.5 cups, it doesn't matter. Add your water little by little, because here's the thing: different flour would give you different, whether you sift your flour or not, it would also affect the amount of water you use. Whether you the different brands, some flours can be heavier and others can be lighter, so just add your water little by little until you get the right consistency. Now, this is the consistency that I am looking for. It is stretchy, it is not so watery. I'm even trying to test it out to make sure that when it is properly risen, it would form a ball. So it's also important for you to sort of wake up the flour. So if you notice the way that I was, trying to mix it, yeah, so you notice I'm trying to wake up the flour, so that it starts to, rise almost instantly. So this is the consistency. I'm trying to show you the consistency that I'm looking for. It is not too wet. The dough is stretchy. It has to be stretchy, really. That way you know that, okay, you've gotten to, the exact spot. So see how stretchy it is. I'm just trying to show you how stretchy the dough is. Once I get to this point, I typically try to get out as much dough as I can from my fingers, and then I go ahead and wash and clean my fingers, and I cover the dough and set it to rise in a warm dark place. I usually have if you don't have any place to put it, put in your oven with the light on, or put it in your wardrobe, or just somewhere dark and warm. Now once it's risen for about 40 to 1 hour, I take it out, then I add my soda water. Now what does soda water do to my puff puff? Soda water gives the exterior a crispy texture, and then what you have on the inside is a soft, squishy sweet dough. So I love that. That's that's one of the things that soda water does for my puff puff. It gives it an a crisp, sort of a crispier exterior and a soft and squishy inside. It doesn't take away the elasticity of the dough. In fact, it also improves the elasticity of the dough. It gives it a more stretchier result afterwards. So once I'm done with this, I again cover it. I need it for about a minute or two. I cover it and I put it back in my dark warm space for about 25 minutes. Another reason why I like to use soda water for in my dough is it gives it some structure, which I'll show you at the end result. Now once my dough has puffed for about 25 minutes, I take it out and look at how beautiful that is. It even helps my yeast rise some more. Now next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up my pot of oil or my pan of oil, and then gradually just to drop balls of the puff puff into the oil. As you can see, even with the added soda water, it doesn't change the elasticity. Just see how stretchy that dough is. Like I said, it helps with the elasticity of the dough. It gives it structure. It makes it more, the air pockets or the air or the bubbling in the soda water gives the puff puff more air pockets. You can tell that there is a difference in your puff puff bowl. Now if you're someone who likes Nigerian pancakes, that's one that they call diet, there's this stretchy thing that you get when you're trying to tug on your pancake. That stretchy feel is what you get with when you add soda water to your puff puff. I absolutely do love soda water to my puff puff. It's just a trick that I developed in 2020, and I haven't looked back since then. And everyone who's tried adding soda water to their puff puff has never ever come back to say, oh, that they regretted it or they didn't like it. Never. Anyways, continue to fry the round balls of dough until they turn golden brown. So I'm using the pick, just to try and help them to, flip over, because sometimes some of them find it difficult to flip over on their own, whereas others just, typically, flip on their own. As you can see, they are flipping on their own, but you also need to give them a little more help, so that they fry on both sides and turn golden brown on both sides. So anyway, I continue to do this, and another way that I like to also do this is to use my frying spoon or my basket or my basket spoon, I don't know what to call this thing, to sort of submerge them into the hot oil, just to make sure that they're all getting enough frying time as they should. Now, once the dough is, fried, I take that out just like so. It's also important to sort of make sure that your balls are, all of the same size. Otherwise, you're going to have some fried, properly and some not fried properly. As with all things fried, make sure you have a basket with a paper towel ready for you to put the fried dough in it. So this is what your puff looks like. It is soft on the inside, crispy on the outside. Now this is what I call that texture, and helping it with the stretchiness. It gives off a crispy exterior, but it helps with the elasticity of the dough and even the after product. Now this is what I mean when I say that it gives the dough some structure. See the holes that you find in your dough, it's stretches the oh my god, as in you don't understand what soda water does to puff puff. It gives it that extra stretch so that when you bite into it, there's just like a little tug, just like so. It gives it structure, it gives it more air pockets, and it makes for a really soft and squishy puff puff. Now for the reason why I invented the puff funnel cake like thing, this is the way that I actually do like to eat puff. I don't like those round balls. I love like the drippings that fall into the oil when you're trying to do. That's the part that I like. So I for once know that I love the crispiness of that size, but again the soft and squishy inside. But I just want to get the soft and squishy inside just a little bit. Now to turn your puff dough into a funnel cake or into an amazing dessert, for the sake of this video, as you have noticed in the video, I have used two puff doughs, one that has pepper and the other one that is plain. So I'm using the one that has pepper. Now get a cup or a glass just like so, then get a sandwich bag or a Ziploc bag, whether it is big, small, it doesn't really matter. I just happen to have this small one at home. Insert it into the cup, just the tip side of it, insert that into the cup. Then make sure that you whip your batter. Make sure you whip your batter just a little bit before adding it to the Ziploc or sandwich bag, just like so. Now once you've added just a little bit, now take that cup out of so what we're trying to do is just we're making a funnel. Basically that's what we're trying to mimic, but with a sandwich or a Ziploc bag. Now I'm going to test it out in my dough just so that you see the hand movements that you need to make when you're frying it. Now it's also important for you to cut your Ziploc bag properly, because as you can see here, there is a pepper there's a pepper that is sort of blocking it from passing through. So the hole is too small. So what I'm going to do is to sort of cut it a bit and increase the size of the hole, just like so. Now notice my hand movement, how I'm moving it, and how I'm making sure it's moving around. So the first thing I like to do is to test the oil. Now once the oil is hot, I go in and pipe my puff batter into it, just like so. It is super easy. It is just a great way to turn your puff batter into a dessert. Personally for me, so you can serve this with ice cream, you can serve this with just plain old whipping cream, just serve it with something, anything, but please don't use yogurt. I know some of you will run and go and use yogurt now. So it needs something that is sweet, it needs something that is ooey, something that is messy, something that is so good that you can stuff your face with. Anyway, this is me trying to check to see if the base was ready, and as you can see, I'm basting the top with the hot oil because I want everything to cook evenly. Now once I notice that the base has cooked, I'm going to use my chopsticks to sort of flip them over. If you have a thong, you can do that with a thong, but I like to do mine with my chopsticks. It just makes it super easy for me, and it's just one tiny tool that I have to clean. Anyway, so once my puff puff is ready, I'm also checking the base to see that it is fried on both sides, or it is golden brown on both sides. I'll take that out and of course drain it on a paper towel or a kitchen paper. Yeah, a paper napkin. What do they call those things? Okay, now I'm confused. Anyway, I drain it and allow that to, come to room temperature or get cold. Now to serve that, I add, my funnel cake or my puff puff funnel cake into a plate. I top it up with whipped cream. For some reason, I don't know why my whipped cream that day was falling flat. Then I go in with my cinnamon toast crunch seasoning blend. You don't have to use my cinnamon. I've shown you how to make a cinnamon toast seasoning blend. You can just use sugar and cinnamon to do this, but you can also use chocolate. You can, like shavings of chocolate. You can use cocoa powder. Whichever one that you find at home is fine. Now see how stretchy the after the funnel cake is, or the funnel cake is. It is crispy, it is soft, it is so good. It is absolutely so good. If you give me this and tell me that this is puff puff, I will absolutely eat it any day, anytime. So yeah, that's why I developed it, because I love it. I like to eat it, and I hope that you gave this a try this holiday season, and I hope that you liked this video. Please leave me a comment, like it, share with your family and friends, and let me know if you loved the recipe. And until next time, I love you munchos and happy holidays, people.